If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Magliulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the culture. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
It's your way to bet against both teams.
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
There it is. You know what that means. It is time for Football Frenzy on a Friday. This is Sports by the Book. We are live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. I'm Alex White, alongside the bookmakers, as always. But which bookmakers
I'm Jimmy Vaccaro.
do
What are
we
you talking
have here
about?
today? That's right.
I'm Jimmy
The
Vaccaro.
infamous Jimmy
I'm going to talk
Vaccaro.
about Trafford and how I refer to all the girls as tomatoes. And I'm going to go soak my coconut after this. And that's what we're going to do.
Very good. We got the long sleeve white.
A little bit of I put some coffee stains this morning. They were more prominent this morning. But there's the real Jimmy.
I can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's not a split screen. It looks like twins.
Yeah. That's my brother from from the same mother. We're twins, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
And Vinny, over there, you've got your crew neck white, so
listen,
you're kind of Jimmy as well.
This is as close as I get, Alex. I didn't do the white. I don't know enough white here. I'm the 60-year-old version of Jimmy, you see. So we're kind of channeling our inner Jimmy Vaccaro. And the other thing is, and Chris has pointed this out many times, you're probably wondering where the South Point logo is. Those were custom made for Jimmy. So we he didn't ship them to us in time.
True story. A lot of people have wanted to buy that shirt. Michael Gahn will not let him do it. He says, no, that is for Jimmy only.
Yeah.
Won't let him sell it out of the gift
Can't
shop.
go in the gift shop and get one.
Well, we miss having Jimmy around here.
We have to get one. You know what,
so.
Chrissy? We have to get one and put it in a frame.
We should,
Yes,
How's
yes, that's a great idea.
It has to have the coffee stains on it.
Yes. Well, you guys work on that. If you can get in contact with him and
Contact with him. I talk to him every day. What are you talking about?
Very good. Very good. I hope he's watching and he sees you two dressed up as him. I love it. Happy Halloween, everybody. Thanks for joining us here. Chris Andrews, Vinny Magliulo, Alex White. We'll be with you for the next 2 hours. It is week 10. Where is the time going? Football season flying by already. Week 10 in college football, week 9 in the NFL. So let's get right to it. We got 3 games tonight. Vinny and Ryan and myself, we handicapped them. We went over them in the first show at 10 a.m. if you want more detail for these games. But not much movement on the sides. Memphis, 14-point favorite. Syracuse is favored over North Carolina. Who knows what's going to happen in that game? That is a tough game. I'm sure it was tough for you guys to put a line out. And Louisiana Tech, 16.5 over Sam Houston State, who has not gotten a win yet this year.
No, Sam Houston State had the better of this matchup in the last couple of years, but this year's team, Alex, not to your point, not as good as the teams of the last couple of years. So obviously a lot of transition going on down at Sam Houston State. Yeah, not a lot of movement here. I like the fact that they sprinkle in a Power 4 conference game, although this is a game where North Carolina and Syracuse, and we're going to get into a few of the, as we get into other games here. You know, Chris, this is a time of year, too, where we have to start looking at what kind of incentive there are for teams. Years ago, prior to this expanded playoff and the transfer portal, this was a time of year where the incentive was to get to as high-ranking, as affluent a bowl game as possible. Not the case anymore, because what we're seeing is a lot of teams opting out of bowl games because a lot of players, right, Chris, they've already declared. So I don't know what we're going to see in this game.
I think a lot of the administrations want to become bowl eligible, but I'm not sure the players do.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these guys figure, well, it'd be nice to get a sixth win, but, I'm going to bail when the time comes. Just to mention a little bit tonight, did see some money on the dog on the Sam Houston game. Not here. We've been solid 17, but see some 16.5
That's
in the
right.
market. So, but half a point, that's not much movement tonight.
Okay. Well, let's get into the weekend. We've got some really good games on deck, and we're going to start off right away with a good one here. Let's go to Knoxville. Now, this game has playoff implications because whoever loses is pretty much out of it. Both of them have 2 losses, Oklahoma and Tennessee. Both of them ranked right now. Tennessee, 2.5. You moved down to 2.5.
Well, we got bet.
And they were 3 all week long, but now 2.5 for Tennessee over the Sooners.
I think these teams are pretty equal. I did make the game pick, but I could see where Tennessee should probably be a slight favorite. Oklahoma is just one of those teams. They're a different team at home and on the road. And Tennessee, I wouldn't go quite that far with Tennessee, but obviously they're going to be a little bit better at home. They're playing in Knoxville's 110,000 people or whatever. It's going to be a tough spot for Oklahoma. I still like the Oklahoma if you can get +3, and I know in the Westgate contest you can get +3. I'm debating it. I have not made any plays yet. That's on my also eligibles list, so we'll see. I'm still looking.
Well, oftentimes, and we'll talk about teams that are coming in off of buys. Both of these teams are off next week, and with 2 losses in the conference. So you obviously, I think what the coaching philosophy is going to be here is let's get we want to go into our break, into our bye with a win, and then come out of it with some type of momentum. But both of these teams probably out of the conference race conversation of conference playoff game. But
with a loss for sure.
With a loss, definitely.
Well, and 2 teams still undefeated in SEC play with the Aggies and Alabama, and then Georgia and Ole Miss right there with just 1 loss each. So I have to agree with that, Vinny.
And the fact that these 2 teams, their losses are in conference, so even the tiebreakers are working against these 2.
I had nothing in this one. I thought that number was just right. It will be interesting. I mean, when John Mateer was 100% healthy before that hand injury, I would have said Oklahoma was the better team of the 2, but just haven't seen him in full strength yet. And so
I got him pretty equal right at this point.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go to the ACC. A big one here for Clemson, who's coming off a bye. Both teams are actually coming off a bye. Vinny, Clemson is a favorite over Duke, and Duke has been a little bit of a darling so far this year. They're catching 3 here at the South Point, and the total's 54.5.
Yeah, they didn't play last year, Alex, again, with the expansion of the conference and everything. And I'm not saying that Dabo Swinney is necessarily on the hot seat. We're seeing a lot of coaches getting, in high profile situations getting dismissed. Not saying he's necessarily on the hot seat, but I think he's starting to feel the pressure. And this is a game where, listen, I mean, think about this. Duke is 3-1 in a conference, and Clemson's 2-3. So I think this is, I hate to use the term must win, but I think this is an important game for Clemson, and particularly Dabo Swinney, Chrissy.
I think the pressure on Dabo is from the Clemson people that feel he hasn't adjusted to the quote unquote new football. It's not just quote unquote; it really is new. For the last couple of years, just college football's changed so dramatically. It's not the same game we saw even 4 or 5 years ago. Dabo has been very slow to change. It's been shown in the in the results this year. Cade Klubnik he's probably still not 100%, although they will. He is going to start. He's going to play. But I made the number a little lower. I only made it 2. I don't, it's not really worth a play. There's 3 and 3.5 in the market. We're still 3 here at South Point, but there are some 3.5 out there. You might have to lay a little extra juice to get it. Sort of favor the dog, but not greatly.
You got to imagine a place like Clemson. They have to have a really good reason to let Dabo Swinney go, right? Especially with how competitive now and these jobs opening. To your point, Vinny. I mean, you're looking around. There's not that many options for how many spots there are to fill already.
I think Chris hit the key point. The pressure on him is, privately, with boosters and the AD is, listen, Dabo, we've got to get in sync with the times.
Yeah.
And pay closer attention to the transfer portal. And listen, there's plenty of resources there from the NIL perspective. He's just going to have to accept it.
Yes. We are not hitting on this one, but I did just want to mention Florida State back in action. Wake Forest has been surprisingly very good. Catching 10 now at the South Point. It's been one-way action, though, on Florida State. Opened 8 up to 10 in that one. But let's go to a Big Ten matchup here, Indiana and Maryland. Now, Indiana, number 2 in the country, according to the polls. They're a 21-point favorite, Chris, and the total's 51 in this one.
I think according to my poll, too, they were number 2 in the country. I made the number 21, so I really have no opinion in the game. Maryland, they can be inconsistent, but part of that inconsistency is sometimes they play very well, too. I think 21's a good number. You just keep watching Indiana and keep thinking, they're going to falter at one of these times, but it's been 2 years now and they haven't faltered much. I mean, they lost to a better team last year, I would say, but they're not, nobody's even coming close. But I thought 21 was a good number, and I would certainly be a pass for me.
Maryland off the bye. They won big here 2 years ago, but again, this is a different Indiana team. Last year, Indiana prevailed, and I think this year's team, as we've discussed over the past month in particular, is better than they were a year ago, especially defensively. So, but again, the Hoosiers here. This is they've got 4 games left, but this is one of 3 that are on the road. So it can't be a look-ahead situation. They did take the 22, I think, right, Chris? The opening number, if I'm not mistaken.
I think I did open 22.
Yeah,
yes.
So they did take the points with the home dog, the three touchdowns. It's a little better than 3 touchdowns at the time. But listen, Indiana's not a team that's allowed to look ahead with their coach.
No.
So.
He's an intense guy. God knows.
I've been a little bit higher on Maryland, so I didn't make it quite this high. 16 for me, but I did not jump in on taking the points here.
No.
What we've seen from Indiana and them blowing out UCLA coming into this one makes me a little bit nervous. So pass for me, but let's go to Raleigh, North Carolina here. Pretty big matchup for Georgia Tech. 8th right now in the nation. They are a 5.5-point favorite on the road against NC State, who's coming off a pretty bad loss to Pittsburgh. Vinny, we're going to you here. Total on this one, 59.
Georgia Tech they were the home favorite by about a touchdown a year ago, and they escaped that game. They've been escaping a few games this year, too. Bit of a dangerous spot here. I'll tell you what, this is a little bit tricky because after this, they're at BC and then they've got Pitt and Georgia. So, while they're undefeated, they're 5-0 in the conference and very much in the discussion for that conference playoff and an automatic I think the regular season winner, right, and the playoff winner should get in, but can't afford to slip up here with 4 games to go, Chris.
Well, the last couple of weeks I've been against NC State, and I was looking back at my numbers. Do I have a bad rating on this team? I don't think I do. I like Georgia Tech again, and this is one I might play this one in the contest. I think they have it 5.5, I believe, in the Westgate. Let me just double check. I think they have it 5.5.
Yep.
Which, get it under that 6. I hate to tell you, I made the game 10, and I'm looking. I said, like I said, some of them when you're way off, you think, boy, did I miss something? I went back and looked at NC State. I don't think I really missed anything. And I don't think I missed anything on Georgia Tech either. This is a really good team. We had them pegged early in the year that this could be a surprise team. And the number 8 in the country, I'm not sure I had them that. but they're pretty darn good. I think they're definitely on my also eligibles list.
I'm with you. I like Georgia Tech here against NC State last week with Pitt laying under a touchdown.
Right.
Of course, Pitt was at home, but I think Georgia Tech's a better team than Pitt. So
Yeah, we were
I
both
made it
on
higher
that, I
too.
believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to go against them again here. It looks like some bettors do like the points because no more 6s out there, but I think it's a good spot. And no look aheads for them either. All right, Chris, let's go the horseshoe here. Well, we got to talk about.
You have to.
We have to.
Ouch.
And we have to talk about the game of the year.
Yeah.
The lines you put out early before the season, and it was Ohio State 3.5, if I'm not
3.5.
mistaken.
Yes.
Again, I double checked. We have $50 on Ohio State, so
$50. So
a lot of guys saw this just like we did.
That's right. I mean, a lot of people had Penn State right there, them in Texas, 1 and 2, and now they're catching 19, which it looks like people were tempted with the points because it was 20.5 for most of yesterday. So
It's
did
21 on
It was
Monday.
21
Yeah,
on
that's
the
true.
openers,
Yeah. So did this just happen? They came in out for the
well,
points?
in the last 24 hours, yeah. You see my number right here. I made it 19. I'm not going to jump in with both feet on Penn State, even if it was 21. I got to tell you, I just think right now, I've talked about Ohio State. I think they are the best team in the country. Now, they might not cover a number like this because it kind of during that Washington game, it kind of showed me they're the kind of team they're going to get a lead and then they know how to win. They're not listen, they're Ohio State. They don't need to prove anything to anybody. They're not trying to run up scores. They don't need to do that. They're going to run the ball. They're going to control both lines of scrimmage, and they're going to win. They're going to grind you out. You're not going to be able to catch them from behind. You're not going to be able to, so the back door isn't necessarily open on this team. I think, listen, they're number 1 for a reason. They won the national championship last year. You know how much it pains me to say all these things that I'm just saying? It hurts an awful lot. But you have to be objective and realistic. I think right now, I think they're clearly the best team. We still got a long way to go till the championship, but at this point, they're a well-deserved favorite.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? I couldn't hear you. The last time that the Nittany Lions won at Columbus was like 2011. And this has been a very predominant Ohio State match. In fact, I think they've won like 8 in a row. So, look, it's going to be very difficult here. Again, Penn State now, they're in recovery, trying to Band-Aid a lot of things. It's going to, they're transitioning to an entirely new chapter in the school's history. So that was quite unforeseen, Alex, as you pointed out, going into the season where a lot of folks had them in the top 2 spots in terms of not only the polls, but also in power ratings as well. So difficult spot. But again, the point spread being that great equalizer when there were 3 touchdowns available, not a real surprise that they took the points.
It is important to point out, though, that they have been without Drew Aller as well.
Yeah.
So backup quarterback for them.
Not helping.
So if you're looking at this thinking it's way too many points, just be cautious. As like Chris said, too, the best defense by far now.
Quick story. When they won that last game was when they blocked the kick, ran it back for a touchdown. It was an exciting finish. I was across the street. The place isn't there anymore. It's got sold. But it was the Boulevard, big Ohio State, Cleveland joint. And I knew the guy was a great guy, the owner. So my wife was going to meet me. I had to work till kickoff. I said, well, meet me over there at the cross the street because I know the game's going to be on and it's going to be featured. Forget anything else. So we go over, watching the whole game. I'm pretty quiet. You know me. You know Pam. We're not screaming and yelling. But when the guy blocked the kick and ran it back, I was pretty happy. Not much, but it's all Ohio State people and me and my wife. Swear to God. Walking, now this is like 10 years ago, so I was about 60 at the time. So we're walking out there. There's an 80-year-old guy that wanted to fight me. I says, man, it's a football game. Just relax. I'm not going to get into a fight because Penn State ran the kickoff back. Yeah, please, buddy, just please. First of all, I didn't want to embarrass myself in case he could kick my ass, so that.
You were the bigger person.
Yeah.
I don't
Well done,
think you need to
Chrissy.
be fighting over that.
No, it's a football game.
That's right. All right, let's keep it moving here. Vinny, we're going to Blacksburg, Virginia. Virginia Tech, they are hosting the Louisville Cardinals. The Cardinals are number 16 right now. They got to take care of business, cannot afford to trip up either. They're 11-point favorite on the road, though, and the total 53.5.
Yeah, they did lay the 10 here, Alex, 10 and 10.5. So support for the Cardinals here. Not a real surprise, I think. Again, but that's a lot of points on the road too. We want to start paying attention. What's the weather too? I know there's some bad weather
I didn't
with
get
some
my
storms.
weather report. Yeah.
We should start. I will just say this to the folks out there: pay attention to the weather, in particularly back east this week, and then maybe in the southeast with some bad weather in some spots. But this up to 11 right now. A little bit of caution. They didn't play last year, so there's not a lot to go on in terms of recent history, Chris. But I'm not surprised. We're going to need Virginia Tech in this game.
I made it 13, but I wouldn't jump in on Louisville here. And again, I mentioned it. I can't remember who I was talking about, but they were inconsistent. And part of that inconsistency is the times are very good. They beat Miami as a 14-point dog. Game went off at 10. Everybody kind of knew that number was too high. But part of their inconsistency is they're not always great. They're not always clicking on all cylinders. So even though I made it a little higher, I was not considering this game. Virginia Tech, not that I have a ton of respect for them, but again, it's Louisville has shown their true colors at times of not being as solid of a team as I think they should be.
I'm going to take the double-digit points here with Virginia Tech. I do like the dog because you mentioned it, Jeff Brom, better as an underdog, right? Better in that role than laying the points. And then Virginia Tech, we know they had a coaching change and they've been pretty competitive under their interim in Philip Montgomery. So I'm going to take a shot here that they can keep this one close and try and catch Louisville sleeping a little bit here in this one. Let's go to Austin, Texas. I'm very curious to hear what you two have to say about this one. Vanderbilt and Texas. It looks like the Sharps are coming in on Texas here. It was 2.5. Early in the week, we saw a lot of money on Vandy because it dropped down to 1.5, back to 2.5, and now we are sitting at 3, Chris. Total 47. Is there anything you like in this one? And where are you seeing most of your movement here, or most of your money from the Sharps?
I did make the game pick. Now, we opened at 2.5, and that first bet come in, and I moved it all the way down to 1.5. I look back, I think that was probably one of those phony moves. I think they wanted to bet a little more on Texas. And, it's one of those things where guys in our business, there's some that are very progressive, analytical, and there's some hard-headed guys. It's just hard to think, Vandy is pick at Texas? Are you kidding me? This number used to be 35, and not $1.35, 35. So I think there's some of that going on. I personally, if this was 3 in the Westgate contest, I would consider playing it, but it's only 2.5. I do think Vandy is just a legit team. Now, they're not quite on the level of Indiana, but it's one of those teams too. We're waiting for them to fall. Might be a long wait. They got a pretty good team. I think they're well coached. They got an excellent quarterback. I think up and down that lineup, it's pretty good. Texas has been terribly disappointing. There's rumors of Sarkisian feeling out his options to go to the pros. I have no idea if that's true or not, but I guarantee you these players are hearing that same thing. I don't know. I like the dog. Not enough to play at 2.5, but if this was 3, I would definitely I definitely have this on my also eligibles list.
What's interesting is that Texas has been, I think, a disappointment to a lot of, and surprisingly so, right? Particularly after that loss at Ohio State. But the reality is they're still 3-1 in the conference, right? So they're in they're in the mix. I mean, Vanderbilt's 3-1 too, which to Chris's point is like, really, it's Vanderbilt. Pavi has been great for them under center, a warrior, a leader. You want to check on Arch Manning, who went out in that, I think it was the last possession with a concussion.
I think he missed one play, but they scored the
that was
touchdown.
So, but the Longhorns have responded, to their credit, after a couple of losses. So, again, an important game, Chris, right? In terms of the conference standings. Now is where you're really paying attention to conference standings, more so because in the playoff era, probably more so than overall standings for a lot of these teams.
I guess I've been a little gun shy to bring Texas down too much. I do have them 4 here at home, but I don't want anything to do with the Longhorns. To your point, Chris, I don't want to get too stuck on, how much talent they have, and that we will eventually see what everybody, thought at the beginning of the year. Looking at their schedules, I mean, Texas has played the bottom of the SEC, and they still haven't been that great. So, and supposedly one of the best defenses, but I mean, they lost to Florida, and DJ Lagway had the best game of the season. They beat Oklahoma. John Mateer was not healthy. And then they went to overtime against Kentucky and Mississippi State, 2 of the bottom SEC schools.
Yeah.
Yep.
Vandy on the other side, yes, they lost Alabama, but they were in that game till the end. They beat LSU. They beat Missouri, 3 really good SEC schools. Now, I think a lot of people are looking at that like, well, it's the 4th tough matchup for Vandy. How did they come out? But it would only be a play on the dog, even against my power ratings here, because I really am not a believer in this Texas team right now. But I'm going to probably just pass and watch it. And it's an early one, right? Yep, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So it'll
Could be an
a
in-game
Great
opportunity.
early slot.
very good.
Could be an in-game opportunity too, Alex.
Yes, it could, definitely. And could look to the under as well. Maybe in first half under, if Texas's defense can really show up and slow down Diego Pavia and company. Let's go to Champaign here. Vinny, Illinois, 13.5-point favorite over Rutgers, and the total 62.5.
Both of these teams have struggled in conference play, right? They've got 7 combined losses. They're all in conference play. So, Illinois looked like they were going to be, especially when you looked at the end of the latter part of last season and how they started this season, never really recovered from the, they beat SC and gave SC their first loss.
Yep.
Remember that game was also a very early
9
start
a.m.
for SC and everybody, but no excuses, and it looked like they were going to do much better. But my goodness, it's not been good. So actually, they've won. So one between them, one conference win. But look, Illinois won at Rutgers a year ago. No reason to think that they're not going to win it. Now, whether or not they cover or not is another story. I think if you're looking for Rutgers, you're probably hoping to get 14.
I made this game 9. I think it's going to be a tight game.
Did open 11, right?
We
Chris?
opened
11 and a half. Yeah,
11 and a half. So we got bet up to 13. I think at one point we even hit 14 on my days off, and somebody grabbed it. But we're at 13 and a half now. Yeah, because they let us. They bet us minus 11 and a half, minus 12, minus 12 and a half, minus 13. My guys went to 14, which is absolutely the right move. But somebody gobbled it up real quick. So we're down at 13 and a half. It's 13 in the Westgate contest. We're at 13 and a half here at South Point. I said, I made the game 9. I mean, this is definitely one of those games that's a very possible play for me. I think his number's gone a little bit high. I like both coaches, and I kind of like both teams, to be honest with you. But I also think it's a number play. I think the number's just gotten too high. We're almost 2 full touchdowns, and I don't think Illinois is 2 full touchdowns better than this Rutgers team. I'm very much liking the dog here, and I know the wise guys are against me, at least except for the one guy that took that 14. I favor the dog here.
I didn't really look into this game too much. I thought the numbers were just right, closer to 12 where you were opening, but not enough for me to jump in. But there's a lot of points there for this Illinois team. Coming into the year, though, everybody thought they were going to be last year's Indiana, right? Yeah. So kind of still a little biased there with their power rating, I would say.
Just give me a shout. Let me shout out to my friend Ed Fang, who I had dinner with before the season, and he told me then, he says, "I don't trust Illinois." So Ed, good friend of mine, a sharp guy, but he kind of tipped us off. Maybe Illinois isn't as good as everybody thought they were going to be.
He had a good seminar at Bet Bash.
Ed's a sharp guy.
let's keep it moving to the Big 12 here. This is an interesting one. Iowa State favored over Arizona State. I don't believe Sam Levitt is playing, right?
He is out for the season. I came across this morning. And it's not disclosed exactly why, at least in this morning's report, that he is out for the season.
That is a terrible loss.
Yes, it is. Big drop off.
For the Sun Devils here. And now, Chris, they're catching 8 on the road. Is that enough points, or is this a automatic stay away now?
I'm tempted, but it's not quite enough. What wasn't Jordan, the receiver? I can't remember his name.
Yes, I always forget.
He missed. He along with Levitt missed a game.
Mm-hmm.
They've missed a couple, and when those two have been out, they've gotten absolutely destroyed. So
it's Jordan Tyson.
Jordan Tyson. Okay. Boy, Iowa State, I just don't think is that good. I mean, I'm tempted to play the dog, but like I said, I looked at those 2 games. One was against Utah, and I can't remember who the other one was against. But they got absolutely annihilated. I mean, against Utah, I think they lost by like 40-something. So anyway, not enough for me to play. But boy, I've a little bit of money, not much, a little bit of money is shown on the favorite. But to me, it'd be dog or pass. But I'll tell you what. You bet the dog. You better just hold on because this team's bad without those 2 guys.
Don't look.
Yeah,
Don't
maybe
watch.
just go get the final later and hope you hung on there.
Yeah, I mean the move to the favorite and being at home and with the injuries, not a real shock here. But again, we talked about it at the top, both of these teams out of the conference discussion, especially Iowa State with a great start to the season, but have definitely faltered.
Yep.
Arizona State, one of the surprises of a year ago, and things, fortunes have changed. And again, the injuries have really, really impacted them. Two key skill position players.
And this is one of those games where I like both coaches.
Yeah.
I think they're both really good coaches.
Good job. Yeah.
But the players just haven't been there for them. So anyway, this would be a good one to watch, and it'd be dog or nothing, but it's definitely going to be nothing for me.
So 2 teams in conference that they lost to was Utah by 42, 42-10, and then they're coming off that Houston loss, which Sam Levitt did have to leave that game, but still played a big portion.
I think
and then
he
Jeff
played
Sims,
3 quarters.
Yep.
Yeah,
and then Jeff Sims, but they were already chasing from that first quarter.
Yeah.
Willie Fritz had his team ready to go in that one, but let's go to Utah here, Vinny. Ranked number 24 right now, the Utah Utes hosting number 17 Cincinnati, and it's a pretty big number for 2 ranked opponents against each other. I'd have to say I agree, though. I made it right here. So Utah, a 10-point favorite, and the total of 55.
And a 2-point move to Utah off the opener, Alex. Here's the thing, Bearcats undefeated, tough schedule, especially moving forward. I mean, they have Utah here, then they've got Arizona, BYU, and TCU. So we're going to learn a lot about. Here's the key to this game. When you look at Utah, they're most successful. Here's what they rely on: pressuring the quarterback to put into turnovers. The games they've lost, they've not been able to do that. That's a key factor for them. And the other thing is they're their own worst enemy. Their penalties and turnover, it kills. They remind me of the Jets, but the Jets are much worse. So I think that's going to be the key to this game, and but not a real surprise. One of the better home field advantages too, Chris, as you always point out with the Utes. So no real surprise here. We're looking for that threshold of where is some buyback on the Bearcats, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I have a ton of respect for Utah. I think I had them number 10 in my power rank. I only made this game 9. Now, we opened at 8. Like Vinny said, we got pushed up to 10, so a 2-point move on a favorite. But I'm not so sure I would jump in on the favorite here. Vinny pointed out Utah sometimes could be their own worst enemy.
Yeah.
They're probably not as likely at home. I've given them 5 points for being at home, which means on a neutral field, I only have them 4 points better than Cincinnati. The Cincinnati team is good. And this one, I'm not saying they came out of nowhere, but they're one of my surprising teams. Let me look of how much I've improved them over the course of this year. God, I hate to tell you, I improved them in my power ratings, 14 points.
Wow.
From where I opened them this year. That's a big move for a Power 5 team. But this is a good team. Again, well coached. Boy, 10, that might be a shade too high. Well, I made it 9. Again, I'm not going to jump in there, but I'm not sure that move from 8 to 10 was the right move.
It could be undefeated, right? They lost the first game of the year to Nebraska at Arrowhead Stadium. Didn't they get picked? Right. Nebraska picked off a passer at the end of the game.
I can't remember
to win that, and they lost by 3, and they've rolled ever since. So it's a lot of points for a quality opponent. But again, it depends on how well Utah protects the ball and doesn't help beat themselves.
I've been back in Cincy quite a bit. I was pretty shocked to see my numbers come to 10 here with Utah at home. So I don't know if it's just a step up in class. I guess we'll find out. But I'm not going to lay the points to find out either. Especially pretty surprising that Devin Dampier did not play last week in their dominant win over Colorado. The backup, Bird Ficklin, was great. And not really sure which one we'll get, but I don't know if it matters. Apparently it doesn't to the bettors either, because they're still back in Utah here. So
where's our boy Sammy P? He's usually right on top
That's
of these
right.
quarterback changes. By the way, he called me while we were on the show. He must have forgot.
I wonder if he tuned in and saw Jimmy here on the desk.
Maybe that's
He got confused.
Speaking of Colorado, coming off of that embarrassing Utah loss, back at home hosting the Arizona Wildcats, Chris, and they are catching points at home, 4.5. I know that there were some clips or some quotes from Coach Prime saying that he had not left the facility since that loss because he was just pretty distraught about it, especially because they had practiced so well going into that. So should have a pretty motivated team here.
I think this is a huge overreaction because they got slaughtered last week. But that happens. And, sometimes a game can take on a life of its own. Sometimes you think a game's a dead under. It flies over. They just can't stop scoring. Conversely, the other way, too. Turns into this huge defensive struggle because that's the way the game went. Well, this game went against Colorado. I just don't think Arizona is good enough where they should be a 4.5-point favorite on the road. I made Colorado 1. I thought I tossed out last week's performance, but I didn't give it too much credence. And listen, I think Coach Prime can be a lightning rod in a lot of ways, but the guy has been a successful coach, and you can't take that away from him. If he says he hasn't left the facility, I'm sure he's been ordering out pretty good at some of the Boulder restaurants. But I would believe that he's going to put together a hell of a game plan this week. And I got to tell you, this is very likely going to be one of my plays this week. It's 4.5 in the Westgate contest, and I'm pretty darn sure I'm going to be on the plus 4.5 in this one.
Holding steady too, really. Not a lot of action, but the action that's been there has been on support for both sides. Arizona off a bye. Colorado won big at Arizona a year ago, so but 34-7. Now these two have split, wins over the past 4 seasons, but yeah, it's it's 4.5 for key number, right, Chris? So I could see that, this game will, to our joy, we'll probably have 2-way action. Thank you. We look for that as much as possible. Don't always get it, though.
Well, here's another one that Chris and I will probably be the same because I'm definitely going to be on the Buffs here. And I don't like that you said that Arizona has revenge because I kind of chopped it up as Utah definitely had revenge from last year. But I do think the guys kind of gave up early on when that game got out of hand. So I think they'll be ready for this one. They were also coming off a bye, Colorado was, and they were starting to figure some things out before that bye. Maybe got a little overconfident, took their break, thought we've got this now, and I'm sure they've had a very tough practice. Also, with a guy like Deion Sanders, that embarrassment factor you can use because you can use that in professional sports all the time. So he'll be using that for his guy. So I'll be on Colorado. I hope they can keep it close, if not win outright over the Wildcats here. Just want to mention, because Bruce Marshall gave us a few picks that we did give out on Wednesday. He likes Washington State he gave out -3.5 over Oregon State. They are now 4. I will be betting that as well. I'm not sure if it's going to make any of my cards.
It's going to be on my card. I have had penciled in early. I'm glad to see Bruce is on my side. It is 3.5 in the Westgate contest, and that is definitely going to be one of my plays.
I feel like Bruce Marshall, he kind of turned us on to the quarterback change at Pittsburgh that really changed their season. And there's a quarterback change. We didn't get to talk to him, but diving into it, I mean, that's been the big mover. Washington State's been very competitive.
Absolutely.
Including against Ole Miss. So, yeah, I'm not a believer in this Oregon State team right now.
Well, they're no strangers to each other, too, right? These programs, right?
This is the CBS 4:30 game.
No, good.
I think that's great. I'm glad to see it.
I
hope they get a big paycheck, both of them.
They split the last couple of years in terms of wins and covers. So, I think and it was a close game last year, but it was a field goal last year.
Well, we're hoping it's
Oregon State.
I'm hoping it's not a close game.
Yeah, we're hoping they win by 2 touchdowns
But I got to
here.
tell you, I made it 7. I made Wash State 7.
See, and this is almost against mine. I'm right there at 4, but I like it a lot after diving into it. So
I always tell everybody, and take note, that power ratings just give you a place to start.
Yeah.
You go from there.
Yeah. And if you
Bruce
like
is good. Bruce does good work.
Yeah.
Bruce good
knows his
research.
stuff.
Vinny, let's go over to Berkeley here. Cal is hosting Virginia. A lot of people are talking about Virginia being the luck box of the year. I personally think this team is pretty dang good, though. I made them 7 on the road against Cal. It's finally starting to move in that way. 4.5 up to 6, and the total 52.5.
People back in your opinion, Alex. Yeah, I mean, almost a full 2-point move to the Cat. This is the longest road trip of the year. I mean, this and again the byproduct of the conference restructuring realignments in recent years. By the way, the Cavs they're keeping pace with who? Georgia Tech. They're undefeated in conference. I mean, you look at this ACC and say, wait a minute, was it Georgia Tech and Virginia? Or, they're undefeated in conference.
Yes,
trying to keep pace with each other. So. I mean, it's a move to the Cavs. Of course, you're not really surprised here, but this long trip comes into play here. I hope they left early.
We're talking Wash State and Oregon State. Those teams really got screwed in the shuffle, but the other two teams that I felt got screwed were Cal and Stanford. But that being said, Alex, I made this number the same you did. I made Virginia 7. This is another game very likely to be on my card at the Westgate. We talk about inconsistency. We've mentioned that a couple of times on this show. Cal is one of those teams. There's times that they've played very well. And they got the freshman quarterback, Psychopolitelli, a kid that I've seen him. He's a big, strong kid, boy. And there's times he looks like, I might be wrong here. I think he's related to Roman Gabriel, which is way before your time, young lady. Ask your dad.
The Rams.
Ask your dad about Roman Gabriel. Yeah, it was a big. I know he was from, he had island roots, as does this kid. But he's very good, and he kind of looks like Roman. Roman was one of those first guys, like 6'4", big, strong guy. But that being said, Virginia's been very consistent, particularly on offense. And maybe they are a little lucky, whatever, but sometimes you create your own luck too. I mean, this is one of those, I'm a little tentative. I don't like the travel. I do know that Cal has jumped up a couple of times and played exceptionally well, but there's a pretty good chance I'm going to have Virginia on my card at the Westgate.
The travel's the one thing that's keeping me off of actually using it as well. And I mean, I guess the fact that they let North Carolina hang in like they did last week, but that could also be a wake-up call for a team that is trying to stay
I think
undefeated.
North Carolina might be a little better than I had them rated personally. So.
Yeah. I mean, they're starting to put it together. It's taken Belichick and his staff some time, but they've definitely been competitive the last few weeks. All right, let's go to the game right down the street here, down Las Vegas Boulevard at Allegiant Stadium. UNLV hosting New Mexico. UNLV, the last time we saw them, got beat pretty bad by Boise on the Smurf turf. Now they're a 4-point favorite at home. Total 62. They are coming off a bye week, Chris, and trying to get back in that win column.
There's another example where the power ratings just give you a place to start. So just, power ratings a lot of times just addition and subtraction. My numbers came to 8, and I'm wrote it down. I says, man, that is way too high. This New Mexico team is pretty good. And I'm 69 years old. I don't remember any New Mexico teams that have been any good. But this one's pretty good. And I just checked now, 8 points above where I started them on the season. This team's not bad. And the move has definitely been on New Mexico. We opened the game 6. We are down to 4. I actually kind of agree with the move, even though my numbers came a lot higher. I just think this New Mexico team, under the radar for much of the public, but not the sharp guys. The sharp guys know this New Mexico team is for real. And I think we even touched 3.5 there for a moment. But we're at 4 now. And I got to tell you, even though my power ratings come higher, kind of like the dog in this one.
Here's a byproduct of this time of year as well. So we've had firings at major programs in the last couple of weeks. Rumors start to circulate. Once again, it involves UNLV. Dan Mullen is, there's speculation that he may wind up back in the SEC, which, listen, for him, he probably would welcome that.
Listen,
right?
Did Florida make a mistake firing him? Absolutely.
So look at Mississippi. He did a good job at Mississippi State when he was there.
Yes, he did.
You wonder if that has come into play here with the bettors, thinking. And there's some pretty respected opinions that took the points here too, right, Chris?
Yes,
but
absolutely.
Especially early in the week. So, that's something to keep in the back of our minds. But both of these teams, New Mexico with 2 conference losses, UNLV with only 1. But of course, losing a tiebreaker to Boise. To get another shot at Boise, they can't lose this game. They're going to need some help along the way.
Some definite flaws from both teams that we have seen so far this year. And defense on the UNLV side, definitely. But I think they are a deserving favorite here. I was closer to 6 where Chris made it, but I'm not going to get involved. Just root on the home team there to get another win. Let's go to Manhattan, Kansas here. This is a very interesting game because Kansas State is starting to look like that team we projected from the beginning of the year. They're catching 7 at home to a very good Texas Tech team. Total 51, Vinny. Now, the interesting thing is it's been Will Hammond playing at the quarterback position because Baron Morton was out. Well, Baron Morton is back, and they lose their backup for the year with an ACL injury. So Texas Tech will not have a backup now if Morton is to go down again.
Yeah, and they did take the 8 and 7.5 with the home dog game. And by the way, this has been this is prior to last year, right? Because Texas Tech was also on the rise last year, so they didn't play last year. But prior to that, the Cats pretty much have carried this matchup. But Texas Tech is a much better team, this year. But not a surprise, given the depth issue now at quarterback with a quarterback that's coming back. Did he have to get rushed back? Is something to take into consideration too. Not real surprised. They took the points here, Chris.
I'm not real surprised either. My numbers came to 7 in this game. Look back at K-State, Alex. You mentioned it. They're finally becoming the team they thought they would be. If you look at the last 4 games of theirs, they're playing pretty good ball. Yeah. And Texas Tech, though, again, I have a lot of respect for them. I forget what I had them in my ratings. Pretty high. Because I did not fault them when they lost the game without their quarterback, and now they get their main quarterback back. Even though the backup, I thought he was pretty good, but he had a bad game, the one that they lost. But I like I said, I made the number 7. What time is this game? That's in the 12:30 window. Well,
Pacific. Yeah,
that's a hell of a game. I got to tell you, we got a lot of good games going on. The Georgia-Florida game's at 12:32, but I'm going to have my eye on this one because I think this is 2 pretty darn good teams. Texas Tech's been there all year, but K-State definitely coming on in the last couple of weeks.
I made it 7 as well. Looking at Kenny White's numbers, though, he made it 4.
Really?
So I have a feeling he's going to like Kansas State for one of our combined entries there, which I wouldn't hate at all. And
you
Bruce,
could do a lot worse than being with your dad, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, definitely a pretty good teammate there. But Bruce Marshall likes Kansas State too, and he actually told us a couple weeks ago, the tale of two halves for the season, and he's liking the second half from Kansas State. I think that was before they blew out Kansas, which we thought that Kansas would finally.
I had Kansas in that game.
Yes,
finally break through.
Kansas could not stop them defensively.
No,
Couldn't
they
stop
could
them.
not. So we're starting to see the best of that team. We'll see what we get from these two. As you mentioned, a great game in that 12:30 window. Here's an interesting one. We've got Miami, Florida, leaving the state of Florida for the first time
Is that
this
right?
year. That is right. They are going to Dallas to take on SMU. A lot of people are down on the Mustangs. They lost to Wake Forest last week. They had a bad game.
He did.
That's a perfect time where I want to take the Mustangs. I actually gave it out on Wednesday. Some look aheads that I was looking at 12.5. So some good closing line value if you jumped in then. But I still like SMU here at 10.5. Chris, what say you?
12 in the Westgate contest. It almost made my list. Again, I made the number 10, which is kind of borderline when you're looking to take 12. 13, I definitely would have jumped in, I think. It's on my list. I don't think I'm going to play it. I just have other games I like a little bit better. But I could see you on that. And once again, like I said, games can take on a life of their own. I really thought SMU was going to put up some points last week.
I know.
But would they have 12?
It was like 13-12. Yeah.
Whatever it was. I mean, but like I said, just at some point you have to toss those kind of games out. And that's what I pretty much did. I made it 10. So I'm not that far off the number, but Miami, boy, I mean, they already lost once as a 10-point road favorite. They might do it again. So I'll probably be rooting for you anyway.
I appreciate that. The scary thing is we know that they have the talent where they could win this by 14, if not 21. But I'm hoping that, Rhett Lashley has his team ready for this one.
Well, the trend has gone the opposite way here because they did lay the 11 and was as high as 12 early in the week, and now they're just taking the points with the home dog. Not a real surprise there. Sometimes we talk about a team with a winning record. They're a very, quiet, 6-1. I mean, it's hard to be quiet when you're Miami, but nobody's, even though I see the ranking there and, in the polls, I don't know if there's a lot of confidence with people in them after that loss they had. So if SMU is going to get right, this is a game they're going to need to, because they're going to have to get back to their scoring ways in order to beat the Hurricanes here.
Yes, they are.
They can't have another performance like last week. There's too much talent on Miami.
Yes, you're right, Vinny. They're going to have to get in the end zone a couple times, but rattle Carson back a little bit and they might have a shot here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Houston. 7-1 on the year for Willie Fritz's team. Very impressive. Vinny, 13.5-point favorites against West Virginia. I would say if you're looking to take the points, I usually like West Virginia at home, but still almost 2 touchdowns here against Houston. What are you seeing movement-wise?
Well, they did take the 14. They did take the opener, Alex, but I think as we get closer to kickoff tomorrow, there'll probably be some support for the Cougars here, who are in contention for the conference. I mean, 4-1 in the conference. You mentioned their overall record at 7-1. This is a very good team, and Willie Fritz has got the program going in a really good direction. Things are getting exciting down at Houston. Of course, their basketball team is one of the better basketball teams as we get ready. But that's starting here in the next few days, college basketball too. So get ready for that. What a terrific time of year in sports and in sports betting and sports bookmaking. But yeah, Chris, no surprise. Again, it was a play on the number, a take on the number.
Yeah, I made it 14 myself. And again, we've talked about Willie Fritz a couple of times on this show. Nothing but respect for this guy. He's always gotten the utmost out of his program and his athletes. I made it 14. I have no real opinion here, but keep your eye on Houston. That's a pretty good ball club, let me tell you. So, and they play some great defense too. So I mean, they may be able to pull an upset or two along the way here.
I'm with you. I was right there, so that was an easy pass for me. This one I debated, though. We're going to Auburn. They're an 11-point favorite here at the South Point over Kentucky. Total 44.5. I'll tell you, Chris, I attempted taking the favorite here because I made it a little bit higher, and I think I saw Kentucky kind of quit last week against Tennessee. I think Auburn still has a little bit more fight in them and just an overall better team on both sides of the ball. But I have not jumped in yet. What are you looking at, favorite or dog?
It's dangerous, Alex. You and I are thinking a lot alike. I made this number 15. I got the dot next to Auburn. I'm not sure I'm going to play them or not. Probably not, because I have a couple games I like better, but I definitely like that side. Like I said, it made it 15. Kentucky been a little disappointing to me this year. The Stoops, I forget what he's getting paid. He's like the third or fourth highest paid coach in the country, something like that. So I really thought Kentucky was going to jump up a little bit better this year, but they just haven't done it. And Auburn, they've been teetering. We've been waiting for them to fall apart. They haven't done it yet. I don't think they're going to do it this week. Like I said, I made it 15. Like the favorite. They probably won't make my card, but I still have a couple hours yet to decide.
Oh, they're betting the favorite in the game, and they're probably going to. I mean, it's real simple here. I mean, Auburn's just been the more consistent, even with only one conference win.
Yeah,
they've been the more consistent team, and so I'm not surprised that the support is coming for them. And they beat Kentucky 24-10 last year in Lexington as a 2-point dog. So I think there's going to be support for them. We're going to need the Wildcats in this game.
See, and that's one of those things, Vinny. I don't like that home revenge when they go to Lexington and beat them there, and Kentucky has a chance back. But everyone was on Arkansas last week against Auburn, and they found a way. And
huge move last week.
Yes.
One of the biggest moves of the week.
And I didn't agree with that one there. And this one hasn't really moved with Arkansas laying points. And these are two teams that throughout the course of the season, I was betting them as dogs. Now they're playing each other. I think the number's right, 4.5 for Arkansas, Vinny. But if anything, I mean, just a feel, I like this Mississippi State team. But they're coming off a heartbreak loss where they had Texas on the ropes and they let that one get away.
Broke Chris's heart, too.
Broke Chris's heart.
In overtime, right? I mean,
up 17, though, in the fourth, right?
Yeah, that's, you wonder, that's psychologically what does that do to this team? That's obviously the coach's focus this week, how to get back on track. I mean, both of these teams are winless in conference play. They did lay the 4. So if you've liked them as dogs, Alex, you're going to get a better number. And 4 being one of the key numbers as well. So, but it's a little worrisome, I guess, because of how they lost last week, right? So, if you're looking at whose heart was broken more, it was definitely Mississippi State. But I mean, who got their butts kicked on the field was Arkansas.
Yeah,
I mean, they got their butts kicked on the field. I made the number 3. Again, it's not enough for me to play, but I kind of favor the dog a little bit. But you just never know how a team's going to respond after that. But I made it 3. If I gun to my head, I would definitely play the dog.
To be honest, not a contest play, just playing this game to have a little action, I'd put a little bit on the over. Because who's stuffing who?
Good point.
I think we're going to get some points.
Oh,
I
my
like
God,
Taylor
look at that
Green.
total, 66.
It's a high total, but I think
came down. You'll go over to a better number, Alex.
Yeah.
Because it did, was it 67.5, 68? So.
Yep, I like Taylor Green.
Good.
I like Blake Shapen. I think the quarterbacks and the offenses are the best units here. So this is a great game. North Texas favorite at home against Navy. I mean, this is a huge AAC game between these two. Navy is undefeated, but North Texas is the best offense right now in the nation, the highest scoring team. This game's in Denton, Chris. Total 66.5. So we're expecting points in this one too.
I'm on North Texas in this game. This almost guaranteed going to be one of my plays. I just saw this Navy defense. I don't think they could stop North Texas. And you mentioned North Texas, at that level, at power, non-power 5 level, one of the best offenses in the country. Great story about their quarterback, too. There's a story, it might be in The Athletic or ESPN, I can't remember. But this kid was nothing. I mean, I think he may have been a walk-on at North Texas State.
Wow.
I was leading the best offense in the country. I mean, it's just crazy the things that happen in this world. But I like North Texas in this game. I don't see Navy stopping them at all. This one will definitely be on my sheet.
And that is Drew Mastamaker that you are talking about there for the Mean Green. Coming off a tremendous game.
Laid to 6, laid 6.5. You mentioned it, Alex. And Chris hit on it too. I mean, it's a big conference game. Navy at the top. Obviously the winner of this game has a tiebreaker as well. And the Middies, I hate to say that could they be looking ahead? I mean, they have Notre Dame next week.
Ooh.
The other 2 service academies are playing each other.
Yes.
This week, right? With Air Force hosting Army, and Army, that game is basically a pick'em game. Those two teams are out of it. I think it would be really good to see one of the academies at some point, and hopefully it's this year. Navy get into the postseason. A year ago, at this time we were talking about Army possibly being that team. Not going to happen for the cadets this year. But can the middies get there? Well, in order to get there, they're going to have to win this game. A loss here wouldn't be as critical as a loss next week to Notre Dame.
I'm always a little bit hesitant to go against the military academies, but I'm with you. Again, Chris, I did make it higher. I made it 10, so it was a maybe for me with North Texas. I like this team. I like this offense. And another thing, I don't like to play teams when it's the first time seeing one of the service academies. They've already seen Army, so had some time already to prepare for the triple option, even though Navy's a little bit different. But still, I would only be on the favorite if I were to bet that one. Dean Hilt did request this one earlier in the week. We were going to touch on it anyways, Benny, but we'll really make sure and go into depth here. USC going to Lincoln, Nebraska catching points at home. Ironically, which this is kind of funny, I have to bring it up because Matt Rule has a terrible record against ranked opponents, 2-23. Nebraska overall, 0-28 since 2016. And USC didn't play last week, and they were not in the top 25, and they bumped up after their bye week. So here they are, and now they have to deal with seeing that ranked number in front of their opponent. But it's a lot of points for this conference game, and we know the whole other storyline with Lincoln Riley traveling on the road and them struggling.
Well, the money's come in on the Cornhuskers in this game. I mean, open here at South Point on Monday as a 7. Trojans opens as a 7-point favorite, so they've taken everything now down to 5. Will there be SC money? Yeah, we're never really short for SC money here in Las Vegas, but both of these coaches are well into their tenures and their signatures on these programs. The question is, I guess, who is done more? When Lincoln Riley got to SC, there were huge, extremely high expectations. And it took them a couple of years, right? So, again, but we know that Matt Rule now has signed an extension as well because his name came up in some, speculation about moving, but he's going to stay in Lincoln. Again, Chris, stability here. We're just looking for that threshold. I have to believe we'll find some SC money here, though, between now and kickoff tomorrow, which is this a 4:30 Pacific start too. So carryover will impact that number as well, right?
Sure. I'm on the dog though. And you guys know I've been Mr. USC from the beginning of the year. I really like them a lot. Don't like them on the road though. At some point when you get all these numbers and quotes and stuff, it's like voodoo handicapping. This game is going to be decided on.
It is Halloween.
It is Halloween, yeah.
Like a little voodoo.
For the voodoo. I think these players are going to decide it on the field. And, Matt Rule, let's not forget, he was at Temple for a long time, so he wasn't going to beat a lot of teams there, He was at Baylor, a good program. He did well at Baylor. And, he's getting Nebraska up to, he's not up to the Tom Osborne days. Ask your dad about him, too. He's not up to the Tom Osborne days. But, I think he's on the right track at Nebraska. Anyway, this number I just think is too high. I made the number 4, and then I could take 6 in the Westgate contest. Almost for sure going to be on my card. But even at like the 5s that are out there now, I think the dog might still be worth a play. But Vinny anticipates we're going to get some USC money. So if you are looking to play the dog, you may want to wait a little bit. It is a 4:30 in the afternoon game. We usually don't have to go begging for USC money, so it might show up, and you might be able to get a good number on Nebraska.
Not much difference between 5 and 6, right?
There is some. I'll tell you why, because of the 2-point rule. Because if you go up by 5 in the old days, you'd probably just kick that and go to 6. But now guys think about it a little bit more. Say, man, maybe
2-point
I should get up by 7. Yeah. So I don't know.
Okay.
But you're right. I've always said for a long time, 6 might be the most overrated number in football.
I made it 3.5. I'm with you. I don't really care about those trends, and we weren't afraid to be on Illinois at home against USC. Now, this is a later time, so they will be awake, but I was on USC against Notre Dame. Barely. They only covered on that closing line. Feel like I have a pretty good number for them, so I'm going to take a shot here. And Nebraska's really only lost to some good schools, and one of them was Michigan, and USC handled Michigan pretty well. But back at home here, I got to take the points. I think there's some value in that spot. Couple more SEC games we're going to get to right now, starting with the Ole Miss Rebels. A lot of talk with Lane Kiffin's name being thrown out there for every single job opening, but he's got to keep his team focused because right now they are in the driver's seat to have a spot in the playoffs. There's no denying that. Vinny, 12-point favorite at home, total 56 against South Carolina, who showed a lot of fight last week against Alabama.
No, they did, Alex. Good point. And that was at home. You wonder what that took out of them. At Ole Miss, even though they split their last 2 road games, very tough road games, I thought they were in the game against Georgia, right? And they were actually leading that game, and then held on and come back right last week and done. I think this is one of, so far, Lane Kiffin's better jobs. So 2 impressive road games for the Rebels here, Chris, and I think he's got this team poised, and I think I think the way he's communicating, the way he's running this team this year, I think they can overcome any distractions.
I think you're probably right, but I made this game 11, and I don't like South Carolina. I can't remember who I bet on them, when I bet on them, who the opponent was, but I just don't like their coaching. They just seem very poorly coached to me. And say what you will about Lane Kiffin, but the guy's a pretty darn good coach. You know, he's got again like a lightning rod personality in a lot of ways, but he is a good coach, and he's won pretty much everywhere he's gone. I only made the game 11. I would not touch this, though, myself. I mean, this is strictly a pass for me.
And I'm 1 point on the other side with Ole Miss being a little bit bigger of a favorite, 13.5, 1.5 points. But I'm not going to jump in either. Bruce Marshall and I did talk about Shane Beamer and him potentially going to Virginia Tech, where his dad formerly coached, and that being a better fit for him, right? Maybe. And I think out of the SEC, we could see some good stuff from him.
Is the offensive coordinator there? Whichever one it is, he's not his dad. I can tell you that he's not a very. I think it's David, who had a short tenure as the Alabama coach before they ran him out of there. He's just not a very good coach.
Yeah. One more SEC. Let's go to
big one.
Neutral site here. The world's largest outdoor cocktail party, or what it used to be called anyways. Georgia and Florida. Georgia 7 now at the South Point. It was 7.5 for a lot of the week. Vinny, start us off with the movement and the total 50.5.
Yeah, Toggler, Alex, right, laying 7 with Georgia taking 7.5 with the Gators. Georgia's won the last 4 of these by an average of like 21 points. So, so that said, still a rivalry game. Both coming in off a bye as well. So. And Georgia off of that, come from behind win against Mississippi a couple of weeks back at home. So, this will be one of the better games in terms of bookmaking too, right? I mean, kind of wish this was later in the day. It's a 12:30 start, Chris, but this one will certainly get everybody involved.
Yeah, I like that 12:30 window.
No, it's good. Yeah, but certain games you wish that they were later too, because they're good matchups and you're going to get even more.
I think the police probably said, 12:30 is late enough. We're going to have enough drunk drivers heading back.
The law
to both
enforcement
schools.
factor.
It's right in the middle of the 2 schools. It's it's always been a neutral as long as I can remember. I made it number 9, so I like the favorite a little bit, but nowhere near enough for me to play.
So it is important to mention Billy Napier was let go right after their last game. So now they've had the interim in there for 2 weeks to prepare for this one. Correct me if I'm wrong, game of the year, but it was actually Georgia a little bit higher. I believe it was Georgia 8.
I can't remember.
I'll dig it up.
Okay, we'll see if Vinny has it there.
Let me get to my laptop.
Okay, yeah. Get through
They may
those
have been
files,
about 8. May have been about 8.
Which, I mean, says a lot for Georgia maybe not being as good as we expected, but on the other side, I don't know what you're going to get from this Florida team. And
Georgia 8.5.
okay, a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think you got the better quarterback on the Georgia side,
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh, yeah.
With Gunnar Stockton,
think
and
you're
we've
right.
seen a lot of flaws from DJ Lagway. But I just want to ask you guys about the last two, Mountain West, because SDSU at home, 10.5-point favorite, Chris, against Wyoming. Did you like anything in this one, or?
I made the number a little bit higher, but I like both these teams. And I know there's a film clip of me saying, "Can I bet against both teams?" I'd like to bet on both these teams. I think they're both pretty good and a little bit undervalued. That San Diego State defense, though, boy, I'll tell you. Yeah, I think you talked about it last week. The best non-Power 5 defense in the country. So I'd be very careful there. But Wyoming playing a little bit of good ball lately, and if this was a little bit higher, I'd consider the dog. But this is just a pass for me.
Well, they took 11.5. They took 11. I'm sorry. They took 11.5. Everything down to 10, and now we finally found that threshold to get some buyback up to 10.5. Look, San Diego State's looking to keep pace with Boise.
Yes.
Right. I mean, and certainly Rebels here will be watching. We'll be scoreboard watching. So San Diego State's 3-0 in conference play. So I think. But this was a close game last year. It may be again. Although San Diego State at home with an advantage for sure.
I can't get that 6-3 win out of my head by SDSU, but they have improved offensively so much since then. I made it higher too, so it was a maybe for me with the Aztecs. But I'll probably stay away because that 10.5. I don't know. I could see losing by the hook there with this Wyoming team, how they're playing. Vinny, let's go north on the I-15 to San Jose, because Ryan and I intentionally put this game on here because it's the get worse or get right game, right? With Hawaii at San Jose State.
7:30 Pacific. Everybody will be in on this game. This game. So there's a couple of times when you look at a matchup like this, Alex, where it'll do even more money. If it was like a Friday night game, Thursday or Friday night game, certainly because it's more isolated. But it's isolated here as the G game, right? Get out, get even, get worse, whatever. Gravy. So yeah, for sure. Not a lot of movement, actually. I think this game is holding pretty steady in terms of the point spread. Kind of the totals bounced a little back and forth. But Hawaii is in the hunt too, right? They've only got one loss in conference play, so they're looking to win. Tough again, coming over. They've been here too. It's not like Hawaii will come in. I don't think. That they're going to come in, 24, 48 hours ahead of time. Typically, they'll get here earlier and adjust to the time change.
I always call it the get even or get even worse game.
That's it.
There you go.
I made Hawaii a 1-point favorite. Again, not enough to play. They're going through some very non-key numbers there, so not on my radar to play. But I like the way Hawaii's playing. They're pretty good team, better than we thought they would be, and I thought they deserved to be a favorite. And I'm looking at Hawaii, 6 points better than I had them at the opening.
What about San Jose State? Have they dropped from the opening? Because I think that they have been a disappointment from what was expected of them.
San Jose, dropped 6 points.
That sounds about right. So Hawaii did get their 6th win. I know we talked about that to start the college segment, but I know that they were very happy, and that was definitely a goal for that team. So maybe this is a spot where San Jose can sneak in there, but I'll probably stay off until, who knows, we'll see at the end of Saturday what we need to do. We had a poll going. I am curious to hear from everybody and what they thought for this Saturday slate, week 10 of college football. And then we're going to take a quick break. And then when we get back, we got some NFL to do. The poll question, we have a result here. Double dog dare ya. Which 10-point dog or larger are you taking this weekend? Is it A, Rice plus 14? That's tonight against Memphis. Is it B, SMU plus 10.5 versus Miami? C, Cincinnati plus 10 against Utah? Or Rutgers, 13.5-point dog against Illinois? That is a great poll question. It's a tie. 32% picked Rice plus 14. They want to get their bet done tonight.
Yeah.
They want to get
There
their
we
winning
go.
ticket.
Reinvest.
And 32% for Cincinnati, plus 10 against Utah.
All good choices. I
Nice
like
poll.
I like Rutgers, so but that's a big number. But I would go with Rutgers.
And I was going
And-
with SMU,
yeah.
so they went opposite of us.
That
too.
Memphis Rice game, absolutely. You talk about a contrast in styles. The way Memphis likes to play up tempo, and Rice will snail you to death. So good poll.
Yeah, snail you to death is right. Ryan, did you yell something for us? Oh, four-way action.
Four-way action. Attaboy. Now
Sound
you're
like
booking.
we're booking soccer. Or
There
something.
you go.
Let's take a quick break. When we get back, we have NFL Week 9 on the other side.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world.
Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement. Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Magliulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the culture. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day.
Keeping it going here on a Friday, actually October 31st, Halloween Friday. There it is. Jimmy Vaccaro.
Jimmy, get over here. Get back here.
Walk in
Get back
front
in
of
your
the
seat.
camera. Love it. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Football Frenzy. This is Sports by the Book.
That's
We are
so
live
good.
from the South Point Hotel and Casino. We love you, Jimmy. If he's watching, is he watching us?
Oh, he'll be because
We'll send it
Somebody
to
will
him.
send it to
told
him.
his
He might not be
cousin
watching
to
live.
yeah.
Very good. All right, that was fun. We had a poll question. Thank you, everybody who jumped in and gave us your opinion on which double-digit dog you liked in college football. Vinny, you were talking about some people stopping by to see you guys
Yes.
again and wanted to give them a shout-out.
Well, we always love everybody. I mean, obviously, you appreciate everybody who tunes in, watches, and love it when they get involved with the chat and the polls. And, of course, when they stop by here to say hello to us at South Point. We had a listener from Nebraska. Kristen, you remember.
Zach.
This Zach is, but this is another gentleman, Kevin Gillespie, and his brother Tom, who unfortunately passed a couple of years back, but made it a point to come by and say hello and wish us well, and say that he's going to be joining the show more often now that he's settled back into his routine. So appreciate Kevin coming by, and again, everybody that does participate is always appreciated. So thank you for that.
I have another thing to point out. Do you know, at home I get YouTube TV on my. They did not reach an agreement with ABC and ESPN. So as of this morning, unless it's changed since then, no games on from ABC and ESPN. We will have them at the South Point.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to sit at home and watch, Bowling for Dollars or something, be my guest. If you want to come down and see all the games on ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, and of course ABC.
Ooh, wow.
Better get your butt down to the South Point.
yeah.
Better get down here early too.
I was gonna
'cause
say.
we're going to be full.
Yeah, get here early, not right before kickoff. But yeah, all the best deals.
Breeders' Cup weekend too, so it's going to be even busier.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, let's mention we got the rooms upstairs. They're open today and tomorrow. It's
Right.
big, best venue in town. I mean, I heard from one guy, Randall. I don't know if Randall's listening. Probably not, because he's over there betting the horses. But Randall came in. He told me he had a bunch of his friends stayed down on the strip. He says, not only are they not showing the races, half these places you can't even bet the races. So Randall told him, well, you better get out to South Point, buddy.
Right.
So Randall's staying here and told him, make sure you get a player's card so we can chart all your plays. Nice player from
Special,
Bay Area.
yeah.
Guy I've known from a long time.
Special event. And Chris, we did a show with Dwayne Colucci and Jonathan Hardoon and John Lindo and Ralph Sirocco. So there's a Breeders' Cup special. When is that going to air, Brian?
It's there.
It's already aired, right? Once? Okay. And then,
okay. Yeah, let me retweet it when I see it.
And then we'll it's also available to on demand. And then the seminar is tonight here at the South Point with John Lindo, Jonathan Hardoon, and Ralph Sirocco, and that is at 6 p.m. this evening. And those guys are going to break down the entire card for tomorrow.
Looking forward to it. I would like, before
You're
we
on
get out of
you
here.
made a pick, didn't you? Make a pick also, Alex?
I did make a pick
on the. You
was
were
your pick?
participated for the classic, right?
Fierceness is my pick for the classic.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So before we get out of here, at the end, if you guys do you want to give your pick, or you want people to go to the special to see yours?
We can give our pick.
Okay.
Get this-
But please go watch
Go
the
watch it,
special,
yeah.
because Sean's got a goal. I believe it's like 3,000 views, right, Sean? Let's help get that special to 3,000 views.
Well, we
please.
might give our pick, but there's a lot more.
Oh, my
we,
gosh.
we did more than a club. We did a few races.
It was Ralph stayed and jumped on our show Wednesday morning and really explained what the Breeders' Cup was, and it being the Super Bowl for horse racing.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. I would like to go
And it's a
upstairs
two-day
and check
event
out
now.
the
It's a
room.
two-day event,
Yes. Yeah.
Started out, what was the first one? Was like 14 million, I think, was total prizes for everything. Now it's up to like I want to say 36 million.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
A lot of money.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well, let's get into week 9 here of the NFL. We had a game last night. Either of you want to give any thoughts on the Ravens beating the Dolphins? Did not go over. I bet that was good for you. Were you guys getting over money?
We had a great day yesterday. I'll tell you.
The Sharps couldn't quit the Dolphins no matter what. Seeing that 7.5, right?
They couldn't quit the Dolphins. We wound up going to 7. They laid back to 7, but nowhere. We still went in needing the Ravens. But the game of the night was Marshall and Coastal Carolina. They couldn't get enough. We opened the game 4, Marshall, and we closed at 7. And even then, it was like just, and if you're watching the game, I really wasn't watching the game. I was watching the pro game. I think Marshall was up 3 at the half, and the floodgates open, and Coastal beat them by a ton.
I know. That was one upset I did not see coming.
I did not either.
No, I like the second game a little bit more than that first one. But so a good day for you. We're happy. I think it's better when the Ravens. Sorry, you don't want the Ravens to be good.
No.
I think it's better when the Ravens are a little competitive. But
Speak for yourself.
We'll see how they do down the stretch here. Starting off with the first game Sunday morning. This is an interesting one because Joe Flacco, of course, traded from the Browns to the Bengals, played 2 games with them, and now he has an AC sprain in his throwing arm. I think he's going to try and go, but if not, we'll probably go back to Jake Browning here for Cincinnati. And the Bears are a favorite on the road, Chris. 2.5, total 51 between these two.
I mean, I don't know if it's good or bad. My numbers were like right on this week, and often that's not really a good thing. You can see on my notes, I made it 2.5. But that was with a healthy Joe Flacco. I mean, I would tend to lean towards the Bears because if Flacco plays, he's not going to be 100%. Browning, I mean, I really loved this kid last year, and throughout his career, really, he was really good at Washington, University of Washington. But he certainly played horribly this year. At this point, I would favor Chicago a little bit because of the injury. But like I said, I made it 2.5, dead 2.5. So.
Flacco left the game, then he went to the locker room and came back out.
Yes.
So, but certainly, as Chris mentioned, he's not going to be 100%. So, but, I don't think there's a specific date for November for Joe Burrow to return. But after last week, and depending on what happens here, you wonder if that gets pushed out even further, right? The Bengals' chances just continue to get worse and worse to get to the postseason. So, look, they laid the 1.5, they laid the 2 up to 2.5 here with the Bears. I think what Bengal bettors are looking for is no real surprise. They're waiting for that field goal.
And they might get it too.
They might.
Let's keep it moving here. This is an interesting one because we got the Giants that are 2-6 now. They were starting to play really competitive, and now we don't have Sbtb either. So already lost Malik Neighbors and now Sbtb. Honestly, though, Jackson Dart's been fairly good for them. But the Niners on the road, just 2.5. I think that's pretty short here, Chris. Total 48.5. Do you like anything in this one?
Oh, again, I made this number 2. There's so much I like about this Niner team. If we show my ratings, I give them the most efficient offense. Now, I'm really trying to interpret, because like I said, I'm doing something different this year. I'm really trying to interpret. I think a lot of it has to do with coaching. Some of it can be good and some of it can be not so good. But I think in the Niners case, they've kind of figured out ways to not lose games. And that's the way their offense is performing. But those defensive injuries between Werner and Bosa, I mean, that's going to take its toll. That's 2 of the best players in the league.
It showed up last week, right?
Yeah, I mean,
definitely.
I do have them a 2-point favorite. I just don't know that the Giants can exploit those weaknesses without Sbtb. I think if they had Sbtb, it would be a whole different story. But I made the number 2, which it's 2.5. We may get to a 3 here. But, this is just a pass for me. I think this game's too tough.
Yeah, I think Chris is right. The 3, I think I might have sniffed 3 real early, but very briefly in the week. But I honestly, it's unfortunate because the Niners, the Giants, every week it seems like somebody else, a key player, goes out. I mean, it's awful. But Niners looking to get back on track, and this may be a spot against a depleted Giant team. I just, I worry about Jackson Dart. He's a gamer, and you have to appreciate that and love that. But the kid's taking a lot of hits, and that's not a good recipe, especially with key skill position players being out and not being available.
Fair point. Vinny does have to take care of himself as well. I like the Niners in this one. I think I'm going to jump in before it gets back to that 3, but bounce back spot after that loss against Houston. I think they have enough there to get this one done, as long as it's under the 3, of course. Vinny, let's go to Foxborough here. The Patriots, the darlings here, favorites of 5.5 at home against the Falcons, coming off a brutal loss against the Dolphins, and the total 45.
Falcons may get a little bit healthier here, not only at quarterback, but at receiver as well. Little tricky spot here. And it's kind of we oftentimes talk about a dead number, right? 5.5. Dead number. How many games in the NFL fall 5, right? So, and then you piggyback off of what Chris said in the previous segment about 6 maybe being the most overrated. But when it comes to 5, that's certainly something of a consideration. Patriots playing great. Look, I think they've bought into the new coach's philosophy, his style. Drake May is playing exceptional. So yeah, but I tell you what, the other thing too is what hurts the Falcons. Chris, you and I see it. We watch it. Coaching doesn't do them any favors.
Yeah. Well, again, like I said, you look at my ratings, and Atlanta is one of those teams I just can't figure out, because a lot of their numbers, they should be a lot better. And I think the fact that I don't like Raheem Morris as a coach. We were talking about the other day. Bijan Robinson had 9 carries in that one game.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of guys are talking about him being the best player in the NFL, regardless of anybody, quarterback, defense, whatever. And you give the guy 9 touches on the ball, I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, they've had some really good games, and they've had some awful games. I'm looking at my game scores, and if you score 100, that's pretty good. They have 2 games over 100. And then the last game was in the 70s, which is really bad. So they're horribly inconsistent. And I think a lot of it does go to coaching, because I think they have the personnel. Now, all that being said, my numbers came to 5.5 on this game, even though I love Vrabel. I think he's done great. And some guys are talking about Drake May being the MVP. I'm not ready to go that far yet, but he has certainly come a long way. I think the team's really good. They're not that much better at home, though. They don't have a big home field advantage. Now, that may change now, because I'm going from the last couple of years where they did not have a home field advantage because their team really wasn't very good. But now, but again, you have to look at the difference, road and home. But they may get a little bit more of a home field advantage here. But I think they are a good team, and they're on the right track.
Yes.
But Atlanta, I just don't know what the hell to do with Atlanta. I really don't. Like I said, my number is right there. This is definitely a stay away for me.
I only made it 4. I'm leaning to the Falcons there, and I'm with you. And if you're looking at Chris's offensive and defense efficiency, Falcons 7th offense and 12th defense. Now, it was Kirk Cousins, and to Vinny's point, looks like they are going to get Michael Penix Jr. back, and Drake London still day-to-day, so I don't know about him, but hopefully. And if they do, I'll probably play a little bit on the Falcons there. To your point with Bijan Robinson, I would look at his not just rushing and receiving yards, because Patriots very good run defense, but maybe they can use him in other ways. All right, going to Steel City here. Steelers at home, a dog again, getting 3 points, total 50.5, Chris, against the Colts.
Well, I have more than a couple friends that have been lawyers, and that are lawyers. A lot of guys, and I would say, I think I could have been a decent lawyer. My one says, you know what? You'd have been a better judge. And that's really kind of what a bookmaker is. You have to look at everything objectively. And I try to do that as much as possible. And objectively speaking, I make the Colts a 4.5 point favorite here. There's so many things. And again, if you look at those rankings, both offensively and defensively, the Steelers are down near the bottom.
Yeah.
And again, if you look at the names, certainly on the back of the jersey on defense, you'd say this team should be much, much better. It's the highest paid defense in the NFL. Boy, they ain't playing like it, let me tell you. And the offense, there's a lot of things I do like about the offense. Certainly, I think Rodgers has been as good as could be hoped for. Expected a lot more from that offensive line, though, I got to tell you. And anybody that's known me over the years, I always believe offense starts at the offensive line. And it's just not been good for the Steelers. And the Colts, again, we keep waiting for the Colts to come back to earth.
Yeah.
I don't know they're coming back to earth. I got to tell you, they got some really good players. Now, Daniel Jones, I can understand you have some question marks about him. They got Tyler Warren, maybe certainly in the hunt for Rookie of the Year. They got another tight end. I can't remember his name. They got a great running back. They got great offensive line. They got a great defense. I mean, and Shane Steichen, listen, I don't know if he's coach of the year. I think Vrabel got to get some votes. And, there's going to be a lot of guys. We still got a lot of football left to play. But Shane Steichen got to be right up there. I mean, he found the right guy to fit what he wants to do. This is a darn good team. Like I said, I made this game 4.5. So I like the Colts in this one. Especially there's some threes still in the market, including right upstairs, by the way. So I do like the favorite here.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Going into the season, you look at this game and say, wait a second, Colts 3 on the road. It would have been Steelers
at least
at 3 or 4. So they did grab the opening number, though, of 3.5, and that was purely a take on the number. So,
to your point, Chris, I like what Arthur Smith is doing with Aaron Rodgers and the offense. It feels like Tomlin's really stubborn and sticking up for the defensive coordinator and the defensive side, but it hasn't been good. Got to make some changes there. I'm worried about them against this Colts offense.
Listen, we saw them, and I tweeted it out early in the game, and it only just got worse. They can't tackle. They can't tackle anybody. I know when Dick LeBeau, who is, one of the all-time great defensive coordinators, he preached that over and over and over and over. You have to tackle. They're going to complete passes. There's going to be holes open in the line. You have to tackle. That's how you play defense.
Yeah.
And this team doesn't tackle.
Yeah.
And Ryan has been talking about the Colts and the offense and that efficiency that we have seen from them and them doing some crazy things. So it's going to be tough. Where are they on yours? 8th offensively for your offensive numbers there. Here we go. Lambeau Field, Vinny, Packers. This is a double-digit spread here.
Yeah.
One of a couple that we have 13.5 right now against the Carolina Panthers, and the total 44. Bryce Young on track to return as well, though.
Yep, and climbing. Might see 14 on this game. Laid 12, laid 12.5. Andy Dalton got hurt last week. He hurt his hand, I think his thumb. He says he's available, but obviously thumb being critical. But if they can get Bryce Young back, and again, we see some improvement with this Panther team. They won their first road game because it was against the Jets, and they've played. Typically, they've played better at home this year than on the road. But that last road game a couple of weeks ago against the Jets said something about them because it was still a road game. But I'm not going to be surprised, Chris, right, if this hits 14.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I like the dog here. I think, all for really last year and then this year, we were waiting to anoint Jordan Love. And he looked fantastic last week. I'm not ready to anoint him yet. I think this Carolina team has definitely showed some improvement. You don't see it in the win column. Actually, I shouldn't say that. They've got more wins than I thought they would have. They're winning a couple games, even winning on the road. And Vinny was right. They are a much better home team. That being said, I made this number 11.5. And, I think you can get 13.5, like I said, right upstairs at my store. And Vinny thinks you might get to 14. If it does get to 14, I don't think it's going to last. So you better not hesitate. But I like the dog in this spot. This is one of the plays that I definitely like.
4-4, to your point, on the year so far, the Panthers.
We wouldn't have had them. I mean, that puts them in the playoff hunt.
Yeah.
It really does.
Definitely.
So,
I think that's too many points here. Packers, I think that had more to do with Jordan Love going up against Aaron Rodgers.
Oh.
And we saw his
going against
his
the
best,
defense.
Going against defense.
What was the
but
yards
on the
after
other
catch?
side,
What was the yards after? I don't know the exact number, but it was a lot, whatever it was, because this Steeler defense can't tackle.
Yes. So I'm with you. I think that's too many points. Let's go to a good division rivalry here with the Lions and the Vikings. Now, this will be interesting. We got J.J. McCarthy coming back only because Carson Wentz. Vinny, you just brought up Andy Dalton. No, Carson Wentz out for the year. Was injured in that one, too. 9-point favorite, Vinny, had home against the Vikings, 47.5.
It's going to be a pretty steady flow of Lions money here. The thing about McCarthy's going to be back, but his offensive line is still really has quite a few injuries. Lions coming off a bye as well, so they'll get a bit healthier in the secondary, and the return of their safety on suspension for a game from a couple of weeks ago. So. Not real surprised here that the Lions money has shown, and I think it's going to continue to show right up until kickoff, Chris.
Yeah, I made it number 9. I have no real opinion. 9 is a lot in a division game, but I think Detroit clearly the superior team. We talk about disappointing teams. I think Minnesota is one of those disappointing teams. Now, they've had some injury problems, particularly a quarterback. But nonetheless, I mean, this is a team what did they win? 14 games last year, something like that?
Yes, something like that.
Yeah. So not playing very well this year. And I think there's a lot of holes in this lineup. And that's another guy. I think we were ready to anoint Kevin O'Connor as the best coach in the NFL. Well, not showing this year. I'm not sure how good or bad he is, but it's certainly not showing this year. But that being said, I made the game 9. I have no real opinion. That is a lot in a division game.
Brian Branch is the safety that
Brian Branch, right?
That Vinny was talking
suspended from for ridiculous outburst.
Yeah, after the game,
After
of course,
the game.
against the Chiefs. That feels like forever ago, which was a one-game suspension, but they had a bye week, so that makes sense. Chris, Houston got a big win last week against the 49ers. Now they're a 1.5 favorite against the Denver Broncos. Where are you with your numbers there? And the total on this one, of course, very low because 2 great defenses, 40.5.
Yeah, again, I made the number Houston 1 because I do have a ton of respect for Houston, primarily defensively.
Yes.
But also, when I made it 1, I kind of thought that was the right number. But since then, a lot of the wise guy money is on Houston. And I got to tell you, I'm not sure that's the right side. Because Houston's big problem, we've talked about it last year and again this year, they have a weak offensive line. And I think Denver's very strong defensively at the line of scrimmage. And C.J. Stroud, again, love that kid. I've been on him from the beginning. But if you can't protect your quarterback, he's not going to be able to play well. I think it's a bad matchup for Houston. And I'm really surprised that the wise guys have come in on Houston. But it's definitely there. And I have to respect those guys. I absolutely do. But I think they got the wrong side here. Like I said, I think the matchup, not the numbers so much, but the matchup, I think greatly favors Denver.
Well,
Broncos, but one more thing. They are missing Surtain.
Surtain is out.
That's a big part of the defense. And I have to take that into consideration.
I mean, the Broncos did open as a slight favorite in this game, and they did take the home dog here. One thing about the Broncos, and Chris and I see this every week, they're never out of a game. I mean, not just the Giant game a couple of weeks ago, but they just, continue to find ways to hang around. And, I mean, although the Giant game, they were down 19 going into the fourth quarter, this is a team that just, there's no quit. And as long as you can defend, look, you know what? You're gonna, just be able to hang around. So, yeah. I'm not surprised, I guess, after Houston won last week. But I have to believe that there'll be some Bronco money showing in this one.
I completely agree with the kind of take the power rating out of it and just looking at the matchup that this favors Denver. And I know we've seen some up and downs from Bo Nix, but ultimately, I mean, he's doing enough to help his team and not put them in a bad spot. So I like Denver a little bit here, and it's a great teaser leg, right? If you can still get a teaser that you aren't paying too much, if you can get it a little bit higher there, to 7.5. So
best teaser prices in town, by the way, right upstairs.
There we go. See, I didn't even mean to do that little segue there. Tennessee Titans, the 1-7 Tennessee Titans hosting the Chargers. Vinny, the Chargers are a 9.5-point favorite on the road, and the total's 43.5. We saw a lot from that Thursday night game with Joe Alt coming back that maybe the Chargers are full strength again here. What are you thinking? Do you think we're going to get to 10 or LA?
Did open 10, Alex. They took it. They took 9.5, and then they laid the 9. So, look, I think professionals will take the points, right? The public, though, I think is going to be all over the Chargers. The Chargers' concern is still going to be their offensive line and the injuries that they've had there. But when you look at, from a talent standpoint, it's obviously the Chargers here. I mean, here they are with an injured offensive line, and they're still almost double digits. Right. So, not a real surprise here. Not going to be a shock, Chris. We're going to need we need the Titans just about every week.
Yeah, a good reason, because they stink. That's why they're terrible. I mean, I know I'm looking. They're going to take away my wise guy card, but I'm laying the points here on the road. I don't care. This Titan team's terrible. When we talked about offensive line, held the Chargers back after week, what was it, 2? What was his name? Alt went out. I mean, has really hurt him. But now he's back. And I said in the beginning, I thought Roman, their offensive coordinator, and Harbaugh would figure this thing out. Well, I think they've figured it out. And I'm telling you, the Titans are just god-awful. They're just terrible. My numbers came to 11.5 in this game. And again, I'm thinking, boy, that's really high. But, boy, I would need at least that to take a bite on the Titans. This is going to be one of my plays. I like the Chargers.
Ryan, do we still have the Titans ATS the last couple years? Okay, we'll have to look into that because
I'll give you a hint. It's terrible.
It's really bad, and I know
you're not losing money, Alex, if you're betting against them.
Right, exactly. And I know the sharps, and some of us trying to think logically. It's a lot of numbers in the NFL week after week, but they're just not coming close and not getting you any money there. So let's go to Vegas here. Raiders coming off a much needed bye week, catching 2.5. against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I saw 3 earlier this week, Chris. Total 44.
I think we had it 3.
Yes.
I think we had it even higher maybe for a minute or two. I kind of like the favorite here. I'm not sure I want to lay points on the road with Jacksonville. By the way, Travis Hunter out for at least 4 weeks.
That's right.
He got hurt in practice. I always thought, I like the kid a lot, but, pros in college is different. Forget the physical play on the field, which obviously is way harder than it is in college. But how do you go to the meetings?
Yeah.
You have to know what you're doing offensively. You have to know what you're doing defensively. This isn't just, you're going to guard that guy. It's a lot different than that in the NFL. And not go out long, no, it's a whole different thing. But he got hurt. He didn't. It's nothing more than that. I don't think that's really what moved this number. I think the wise guys just kind of liked the price on a home dog. Vegas. I don't know. I really talk about some coaching disappointments. I'm disappointed in his Chip Kelly. I thought this defense. I thought this offense would be much better under Chip Kelly. I know he probably doesn't have the horses he'd like to have, but I'm surprised they just can't score very well. Which with Kelly and even with Geno Smith, who he's probably seen his best days, but I thought he had a chance to have some better days, I would say. But it is a pass for me.
Well, they get a major horse back, right? Brock Bowers is back this week.
That's big,
which is critical for the Raiders, and I think Max Crosby has been cleared as well. So Jags lose Hunter, two-way player. Raiders getting healthier, so I could see the support for the Raiders at home here, and not going to. And this may be a game too where the Raiders have a little bit of a home field. There's a lot of games, as we know, where the opponents have far more presence at Allegiant Stadium than do the Raiders. This should be more of a Raider crowd here, and again, they're healthier.
If you can take the 3 on a pick 'em, I think there's got to be some value there, as Vinny mentioned, with Brock Bowers coming back. I think that's part of the problem, though, Chris. I think the whole offense was kind of set up around Brock Bowers, right? And then he goes down.
Well, rightfully so.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what he did last year as a rookie tight end. But so it's been a struggle for them. We'll see if they can get back on track here at home against the Jags, who are also coming off a bye week, though. So that makes it a little bit tougher there. Let's go to SoFi with the Rams laying 14 at home, Chris, against the Saints. The total 44.5. Spencer Rattler is getting benched. Tyler Shuck is going in. Got to imagine they want to see what they have from both guys before the end of the year and the draft comes up, right?
Yeah, I made this number 13.5. But I can see the move. New Orleans is one of those teams, and again, I like Moore as an offensive coordinator. I thought he was going to do well as a coach. It seems like the team's gotten worse during the course of the year. So I made 13.5. I'm not anxious to lay anything, but I could see there has been some money for the favorite in this game. Kind of could see why. And the fact that Shuck is totally unproven. And I liked him coming out of college.
Me too.
I was hoping maybe the Steelers would grab him. But I like him. But listen, a quarterback playing his first game against where do I have
Number
the
one.
Rams defense? Yeah, that's a pretty tough spot to go. I mean, that defense is really, really good. I'm questioning my offensive numbers. Like I said, I did something different this year. I may have to tweak that a little bit. Matter of fact, I guarantee I'm going to tweak that at the end of the year. But I'm very happy with my defensive rankings. And Rams are at the top. It's a tough place for this kid. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to touch this game, but I could see where the wise guys are on the Rams here.
Shuck came in last week, and and of course that was at home. Different to Chris's point. Now here's your first road game. Here's your first start, kid. Go ahead. By the way, you're playing one of, if not the best defense in the league on the road. It's going to be all Rams in terms of the exotics, moneyline parlays, and teasers. So, yeah, no shock.
I gave out under for this game because the Rams defense had a Shuck going up against them, but I think maybe team total Saints under might be even better, especially looking at your 26 defense for the Saints. That scares me a little bit. I thought that was a brighter spot for them.
What do you see the team total there?
I need to look that up.
Yeah, because I could see where that would be a good play. I don't think Shuck's going to put up a whole lot of points, and you never know. The Rams may just take it easy if they have 10, 12-point lead. May just want to sit on it.
And, yeah, exactly. Kind of just run out the clock. I will pull that up right now, though. Okay, we've got a couple more on Sunday, and then we got one Monday night. Let's go to Buffalo. The big game here, AFC, the showdown between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. The Chiefs, Chris, are favored on the road in Buffalo. It's 1.5 right now. I believe you guys opened one, got to 1.5. Total 52, up to 52.5.
Well, there's another game. The wise guys are definitely on Kansas City here. I made Buffalo a 1-point favorite, although I can't dispute the move here. Josh Allen has not been that good this year. I mean, he's good, but, he was MVP last year. He's not been up to that standard. Kansas City finally getting all their act together. They've gotten healthy. That's another big aspect of it. So I think there's a lot going for Kansas City. I understand the move. I don't think it's enough for me to play, even though I have the Bills as a 1-point favorite. This team is just it's a tremendous home team. And they've beaten Kansas City plenty of times during the regular season. Of course, I don't think they've beaten them once in the postseason. But I don't want to say they have their number, but they're certainly not intimidated, and they don't they come to play with all these home games during the regular season. And, I kind of like Buffalo in this spot, but I understand where guys would like Kansas City. I can make a case for that.
Yeah.
Bills, the defense has just not been good. Yeah. I mean, that's and to Chris's point, the Chiefs are healthy now, and they've got all their receiving core intact. Running the ball, and Mahomes is like having another running back. You oftentimes say, and I said it earlier about Jackson Dart taking too many hits. Mahomes doesn't take hits. You ever watch him when he rushes? He picks his spot, and when he does it's usually he runs out of bounds. Mm-hmm. He does not take the hits, which is extremely gifted at that position. So not a real surprise that the money came in on the Chiefs here, but there will be Bills action as well. I mean, both of these teams are going to draw, and this is a game where everybody's going to get involved with because of the matchup.
Probably my other teaser leg right there, getting the Bills at 7.5. Keep it close here. I'm with you. I made them a small favorite, but I'm not that confident in it
I can
because
see it.
the Chiefs are definitely playing really good, but the Bills are chasing the Patriots right now in that division. So they'll be, I mean, not that they need any more motivation than going up against the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, but it looks like I'm seeing 14.5 or 13.5 out there for the Saints
13.5.
team total. I got to get my app going for your numbers, but that's what I'm seeing here on Wager Talk, at least across the board. Last one for Sunday, Seattle and Washington. It looks like Jaden Daniels is trending in the right direction as well. Seahawks still laying 3 on the road, though, in Washington. Total 48, Chris.
Well, Jaden Daniels trending in the right direction. How about Terry McLaurin?
Terry McLaurin is out.
How about
again.
Deebo Samuel?
I think he's in.
You know, I mean, I watched a little bit of Gill's show this morning. I don't know how many games where they've had Daniels, McLaurin, and Deebo. Very, very few. And this is another one.
Yeah.
I made the number 3.5 Seattle. And I can see where the wise guys would take that extra half a point. I'm not sure that's the right move, though. Daniels obviously missed a couple weeks. Is he? Yeah, he's playing. Is he going to be 100%? Are they back in sync with everything? And McLaurin's a pretty important guy on this team. You know? Missing him, I think, is going to be important. Again, I made it 3.5. It's 3. Not enough to get me to play, but I tend to favor the favorite a little bit.
Toggler. We did hit 3 earlier in the week, and they 3.5. I mean, and they gobbled it, which is not a real shock. McLaurin re-injured his leg, and he's out again. So Chris brings up a good point. You know, without having those 3 guys in the lineup together has been difficult. Listen, the Washington last year played, I think, maybe 2 or 3 teams that had a winning record. Their schedule was upgraded this year, and the Seahawks do play well on the road.
Yes.
So not a real surprise, and that's why we made them the favorite here. And they're the healthier team.
Kind of going back to what Chris said about being stubborn and some of the sharps. Well, I mean, Seattle is kind of this year's Washington, right? Or even the Vikings. They are really good. I think that they should be a favorite. And looking at your numbers, 14th offense efficiency, 3rd defense, and looking at Washington's 25th on offense and 27th on defense. We want to see that Washington team from last year, but they're not healthy, and it's just been tough. So I do think Seattle's playing really well, and I love their defense. So
Love their defense.
Yeah.
And, like Vinny, I heard him quote a couple times. Defense travels. And it's going to travel here, I think, too.
I'm right there with you, though. 3.5 for me. I made it. So lean to the favorite. Last but not least, we've got a Monday night game, and the Dallas Cowboys are favored. They are at home, so that makes a little bit of sense there. And they are playing against the Cardinals, who are trying to snap their losing streak, should get Kyler Murray back. We saw Dak Prescott and the offense come back down to earth a little bit, but still they're a 3-point favorite here at the South Point. 2.5's out there, total 53.5.
You know, these Cowboys, they missed a fight. You would have thought you had a key point, Alex, about their offense last week, and just their offensive line really hurt them. And so you would look at this game and say, wow, shouldn't they be bigger favorites? Forget the records for a second. Shouldn't they be bigger favorites against the Cardinals? Well, maybe to get back on track this week. I know that the 3 was grabbed earlier in the week, but I can tell you this: we're going to need the Cardinals in this game. This is going to be a game where I think certainly the public is going to drive this number up, even with Murray back, right, Chris? And the carryover, everything is going to be going to it, which started last night.
There's been a lot of wise guy money on the dog in this game, and again, I'm not crazy about that. I'm seeing mostly 3 now. We had a 3.5. I think there were some 2.5 showed up in the market this morning, but it quickly went back to 3. I made this number 3.5. I really like Dallas's offense at home. I mean, it seems like it's two different offenses, one on the road and one at home. Now, it's Vinny likes to say defense travels, offense doesn't. And this one doesn't have to travel for Dallas. And I think this is a very good offensive team when they're playing at home. And Dak Prescott, I've never been huge on Dak Prescott, but right now he's playing as well as anybody in the NFL. I mean, I think George Pickens was a huge addition to this team. I mean, they still have their flaws. They got plenty, particularly on defense. But I really love this offense. And I thought 3.5 was a better number in this game. And, Arizona, I don't know. I mean, if the number is 3, they're telling you these are pretty much equal teams. They may be on a neutral site, but not at home. Dallas is a good home team, particularly because of that offense.
I agree. I made it 4, so I do like Dallas. I'll be looking for a 2.5 if I can get that today over the weekend before that Monday night, and then all the money does come in on the Cowboys there last minute. So I would definitely shop around depending on what side you like, right? Because some 2.5s out there or 3.5s if you do like the dog.
I think the 2.5s are gone.
But I'm not that. I think I see one at BetMGM maybe.
2.5 with juice.
Okay.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. That's DraftKings.
Oh.
2.5 with juice. MGM looks like they were at 3.
Okay. Must have moved there, but we'll keep an eye on that. Definitely. But I'm really not a buyer in the Cardinals. They're going to have to prove it to me first.
Yeah,
So.
I'm with you.
Yep.
That's it for us. Let's check in with the poll and see what everybody else likes over the weekend. See if there's any questions for either of you. Anything else, Vinny or Chris, going into the weekend, and any more thank yous or notes
Always.
or things to share? Parties happening here?
Always thank you. Breeders' Cup parties. And, get ready for your pace yourself, folks, right? Especially this time of year with now. NBA has already started, NHL, now college basketball is going to start as well in the next 48 hours. So just enjoy it.
That reminds me, we have some really good college basketball games here in Las Vegas if people are here at the T-Mobile on Monday.
Yeah.
The Hall of Fame series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Florida
Some good
Gators
games.
will be
Yep.
here against Arizona, so
Yep.
good one.
So good stuff going. But, yeah.
Just to remind everybody, the actual Breeders' Cup races have yet to start
For today.
Right. So we got the great party going up in the ballroom upstairs. Even better party tomorrow. Well, because today is Juveniles Day, so those 2-year-olds can be a little tough to bet on because most of these guys have 3, maybe 4 races, maybe 5, and that's it. But tomorrow we have obviously that's the big money and the horses you're probably much more familiar with. But we have parties both days, and we do it the South Point way. We're not going to rob you on drink and food prices. We don't charge you to park, none of that stuff.
No entry fee.
No entry fees, And like I said, I heard from my one friend, Randall. He's probably up betting horses right now, but I'll mention him anyway. Randall said he got friends staying down on the strip, and he said, "Are you guys nuts? You can't even forget watch the races. You can't even bet them half the time. Come on out to the South Point." So come on out here.
And Ralph's seminar tonight.
Ralph's seminar
6
tonight.
p.m.?
6 o'clock.
We got a
Ralph.
World Series game tonight too, by the way. So
Game 6.
we got a lot of stuff going
good
on.
stuff.
And should be a great weekend.
Yes, definitely a great weekend. Game 6, cannot believe I'm saying that it could be an elimination game for the Dodgers.
For the Dodgers.
Not for the Blue Jays, and it's in Toronto, so.
Chrissy, are you going to the spa now, Jimmy?
You can go soak my coconut. Quote Jimmy.
Did
I
you
got
say-
4 plays.
we have a poll too.
Poll
Right.
2,
Yeah.
we'll go poll first, and then
Go
we'll
ahead.
get Chris's
Okay. Yeah.
place. So it says, buyer beware. Who's most likely to record a loss this weekend coming off a bye? Is it A, Seahawks -3 at Commanders, B, Jags -2.5 at Raiders, C, Cardinals +3 at Cowboys, or Lions -9 versus the Vikings? And 60% of the vote goes to Jacksonville
Ooh,
to record a loss at Allegiant on Sunday.
Raider fans have spoken.
I guess we have some Vegas people in there.
Yeah.
Good. I'm a good poll question.
Okay, now we've got, and
Well-
if you want Chris's college picks, those come after 5 o'clock,
Yeah.
because that is when the deadline
I was
was
3-3-1 in the
Westgate.
colleges last week. And the one tie I was 0-4 in the pros.
Were you?
I was 0-4. I had 4 7-point dogs. Ain't a one of them showed up. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Listen, you do this long enough, crazy stuff's going to happen. But I had good closing value. I was with the wise guys.
That did work
Another
out.
overrated. Another thing that's overrated. All right, here's what I got this week. I got Carolina plus 13. You could probably get better out there, but it put me down for 13. Denver plus 1.5. Chargers minus 9.5. I'm going to take away my wise guy card for doing that. And one more. I got the Cowboys minus 3 on Monday night.
There you go.
So that's my 4 plays.
Cowboys minus 3. Okay. Yeah. I like those a lot.
Okay.
I do. I think that's it for us. Do you
That's
guys
it?
want to give your horse Breeders' Cup Classic pick or any of the races if you'd like?
Well, I'll give my classic pick because that's the one most people are interested in. Forever Young. And he's going to be about 7-2. I think he's actually going to be a little bit higher. He finished third in the Derby. He finished third in the Derby by a head, I think. 3 heads on the wire. He was third. And he finished second or third last year in the Breeders' Cup Classic. So I need one more length from this guy, but I think we might get it tomorrow. So I'm going to take a shot with Forever Young.
Japanese horse.
Japanese horse.
Yeah.
Moment in the Classic, I put Fierceness, the one horse, at 4-1 on the morning line with Velasquez in the irons on top with number 7 Sierra Leone, and then used the 7 horses. The 8 and 10 horse Mind Frame and Antiquarium as in my exotics.
Like I said, you can make a case for every horse in that race.
Yeah.
Except for one of them, right?
Sovereignty.
Because isn't there a rabbit in there?
Well,
I'm
Baffert's.
not sure they need it.
Baffert,
but yeah.
Baffert's got a.
Baffert's got
Nevada
a 21.
Beach.
I'm putting him in my exotics.
You like
Nevada
him?
Beach.
Yeah.
Nevada Beach.
He's hard to leave Baffert. I mean,
But it's contrary thinking, right? That is that horse that was put in there.
Yeah, I'm
For
not
Sierra
sure they
Leone?
needed to.
Okay.
But,
and of course, Sovereignty being scratched
Yes.
probably creates a less of a price on these other horses, but it also makes the race even more wide open.
can I tell you something? I don't think anybody was beating Sovereignty.
No, I don't think so either, buddy.
Look at it that way.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for us on a Friday on this October 31st. Happy Halloween, everybody. Please be safe. We'll be back on Monday, but remember, Race Day Las Vegas is here over the weekend, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning and Sunday morning. So get you ready for all of the Breeders' Cup. And don't forget to go back for the special for Vinny and Jimmy and Alex. Ryan, thank you, Sean, behind the glass, and Jerry, Drew Dog, everybody who gets this show up and going. We appreciate all of you. So for the guys, I'm Alex White. We'll see you guys on Monday here on Sports by the Book.